Right now at 6, the wife of a slain off-duty police officer recalls the chaotic night he was killed.
There were shots, and I wasn't sure where they came from.
Plus, the First Lady touches down in the Rose City. Details on the quick stop and how soon she was wheels up. And say hello to weather whiplash, with temperatures now poised to break records.
These early heat events that happen in the year are more severe because our bodies haven't quite acclimated to the heat yet.
Good evening, everyone. Let's get right to breaking news and a search for a suspect in a Fairview neighborhood. More than 40 police units are now on scene on Bridge Street near Northeast 223rd. Bridge Street is shut down. The Multnomah County Sheriff's Office says they are looking for a suspect who possibly broke into a home. In the last half hour, we've also seen a SWAT team pull up. As of right now, there is no shelter-in-place order for the neighborhood. We will update you as we learn more. Also breaking this evening in North Portland, an industrial fire is setting up a whole lot of smoke. Within the last hour, Portland Fire sending us these photos from the Schnitzer Steel facility off North Lombard. They say the fire is burning through a debris pile of combustible mixed metals that includes things like shredded cars and all the stuff inside of them. They say they are making good progress, but it'll take time to fully knock it down, which means you could see smoke in that direction for at least the next few hours. We'll keep you posted there. Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko. We continue at 6 with emotional testimony from the wife of a Vancouver police officer mistakenly shot by a Clark County deputy during a police chase. Ashley Grams was in the courtroom today and joins us in the newsroom. Ashley.
David, the courtroom was completely packed. People even sitting on the floor as we heard for the first time from Donnie Sahota as she recounted the night her husband was killed.
This Clark County courtroom was silent Thursday as Donnie Sahota took the stand. She's the wife of Donald Sahota, a Vancouver police officer who was mistakenly shot and killed by a Clark County deputy in January 2022. But that deputy wasn't charged. 22-year-old Julio Segura is the defendant in this murder trial. Segura was charged for his actions leading up to the deadly shooting of Sahota.
We were having, candlelight dinner.
So we're going to do dinner?
On the night Sahota was killed, the couple was enjoying dinner together until they heard someone repeatedly ringing the doorbell. Sahota says she called 911 while her husband talked to Segura. You can see the two men standing in the driveway in this drone video.
He was very aggressive about needing to come into the house. And I remember hearing Dawn say, "You can't come in, but I can help you."
Then the 911 operator told Sahota officers were looking for someone in connection with an armed robbery. She then told her husband.
I remember my husband saying he was an officer and attempting to detain him.
Then Sahota says she saw Segura reaching for something. Segura started stabbing her husband.
I thought he was just hitting him.
You didn't see the knife?
I did not.
Then a patrol car pulls into the driveway.
I remember just yelling, "Help him."
As Sahota tried to shut the door, Segura burst inside the house. Sahota's husband was still outside.
It all happened so fast that we heard there were shots, and I wasn't sure where they came from.
Those were the shots fired by a Clark County deputy that killed her husband.
I thought he would be there. I obviously knew he was hurt, but I didn't know what had happened. At that point,
Segura's defense attorney cross-examined Sahota for about 20 minutes, questioning parts of her testimony. Segura argues he didn't know Sahota was a police officer and that he was acting in self-defense.
Well, again, the deputy you saw in the video who shot Sahota was never charged. The trial is expected to last 3 weeks. David.
And we can only imagine how hard it was for Mrs. Sahota to testify today. Thank you, Ashley. In tonight's headlines, Portland police have identified the victim and arrested a suspect in a deadly North Portland shooting last weekend. This was around 4 Sunday morning on Weiler Street in the Lloyd district. Officers arrived to find the man on your screen. His name is Bruce Glass, dead from gunshot injuries. On Tuesday, police arrested 54-year-old David Carter on drug and gun charges. Then they say detectives figured out he was involved in the Sunday homicide. He's now been charged with murder. An Aloha woman is facing DUII charges after crashing her SUV into an active construction zone in Beaverton. The crash was early this morning at Southwest Shoals Ferry and Murray Boulevard. Police say the driver, 37-year-old Kang Cowan, was under the influence when she drove through caution tape and around traffic cones before hitting a backhoe in a trailer. You can see it there. The impact caused the SUV to flip upside down. Cowan was not injured but was arrested. Last month, Beaverton police say they made 37 DUII arrests. And if you use TurboTax to file your 2023 Oregon tax return and it didn't seem like your taxes and refund quite added up, well, might not be your fault. According to the Oregonian TurboTax parent company, Intuit is now notifying some 12,000 filers that it made a mistake by recommending the standard state tax deduction when filers could have saved money by itemizing their deductions. Those affected should receive an email laying out a 28-step process, 28, to amend your return. If your tax bill ends up being smaller or your refund larger, then you'll get a check or direct deposit for the difference from the state. Matt?
Thanks so much, David. I tell you what a day, right? We made it into the 80s for the first time this year. 83 the high in Portland, 83 Scappoose in Vancouver, Hillsborough at 81. We've had an 85 on the map down at Brookings. 81 on the north coast at Tillamook, and tomorrow will be even warmer. Now, we've had this pretty strong east wind blowing during the day today, and it's still out there northeast in Washington County at 9 miles an hour, still 80 degrees out at the Reserve Golf Course. Just great conditions to do whatever you like to do outside. So tomorrow, that'll be the warmest day of this stretch, up to 91 degrees. Our last 90-degree day was way back in the middle of September. So yeah, it's been a while since we've done that. The average date of our first 90-degree day is the 18th of June. And the nice weather doesn't just last through tomorrow. Mother's Day will be even better because it's going to cool off a little bit, but we'll keep the sunshine. Next week offers more sunshine and the potential for some more hot weather. More on that for you a little bit later on. But this is super interesting. Big sunspot cluster on the sun. That is 16 times the diameter of the Earth. This is an image shot by Jim and Karen Young out near Seaside yesterday. This is from NOAA and NASA showing these solar flares coming off the sun, and they think a couple of them might grow together to form what they call a cannibal solar storm, which is headed towards Earth. They've issued their first geomagnetic storm watch in almost 20 years for tomorrow night. So that means we got the potential for the northern lights. Look to the north after midnight, get away from city lights. Friday, Saturday night. More on the warm weather too, David, in a bit. Back to you.
That name sounds cool and creepy at the same time. Thanks, Matt. Well, First Lady Jill Biden made a rare visit to Oregon today, landing at the Portland Air National Guard base that is right next to PDX around 12:30 this afternoon, and then she made remarks at a political fundraiser near Lake Oswego. Blair Best is live at PDX overlooking the tarmac this evening. Blair, I mean, talk about quick. The First Lady is already wheels up.
That's right. We watched her take off just about 3 hours ago. But really, what a picture-perfect day for the First Lady to be visiting Oregon. But as you mentioned, she was not here long. Portland is just one stop for her in a tour of 3 West Coast states this week, and now she's on her way to California.
The First Lady of the United States, Jill Biden, landed at the Oregon Air National Guard base at PDX around 12:30 Thursday afternoon, amid a welcome break from recent rain and a picturesque backdrop of Mount Hood. You can see the First Lady here stepping out of the aircraft. It's a C-32, a military version of a Boeing 757, used by U.S. leaders, including the Vice President. Governor Tina Kotek and her spouse, Amy Kotek Wilson, along with Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler and Multnomah County Chair Jessica Vega Peterson, among those to greet her.
It's a fantastic day here at PDX. We have the First Lady showing an interest in our city. It just feels really good to be here.
The First Lady's visit comes about a week before the primary election, where President Joe Biden is the presumptive nominee for the Democratic Party, with former President Donald Trump the presumptive Republican nominee.
I think it shows that Oregon is not sitting on the sidelines, that they see Oregon as being an important part of their campaign strategy. They see it as being important to the 2024 election cycle, and I think that's an appropriate judgment. We'll probably see the Republican candidate here as well.
Multiple high-level officials in the Biden administration have visited Oregon in recent years, including the president himself, visiting twice in 2022. As for the First Lady, this is a rare trip to Oregon. Back in 2015, she visited Umpqua Community College. The First Lady is seen here leaving Oregon, taking off just after 3 o'clock Thursday afternoon. Her next stop, California.
All right, so we are now learning more about the event she attended here in Portland today. It was at a private residence near Lake Oswego. About 80 people were there. She stayed for about 30 minutes and encouraged those there to talk with their friends about the stakes of the upcoming presidential election. Now, the next 2 days, she'll be in California and Arizona, and President Joe Biden is also on the West Coast this week with stops in both Washington and California. David?
All quick trips. Thank you, Blair. All right, we're learning more about the president's visit to our area. Oh, you know what? Let's move on here. We're going to talk about the heat coming up, including what local health officials are saying when it comes to the turnaround and why they're not worried about the temperatures, but the trend. That's next.
Tonight at 6:30, we're looking into the question of what is justice. Specifically, we're delving into a case of sex abuse in Washington County and the unusual thing the judge did that has the victim and the prosecutor furious. We'll see at 6:30.